everyone, it's Roger and James here from the DisKingdom Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about the brand new Disneyland Hotel and new parking structure stuff that's all going to be coming to Disneyland, sort of downtown Disney area in, so I think it's 2021. There's some major news going in. That kind of was a big story I'm jumping in, so let's just give you guys a little bit of information before we get going. So the new hotel is going to be opening 2021. It's going to be a 4-diamond hotel. It's going to be, will transform the west end of downtown Disney District and anchor a new gateway to the Disneyland Resort. Have 700 rooms with a sophisticated design, dynamic dining, entertainment, and hotel experience. It'll also offer some extensive landscaping and water elements that will create a resort oasis, showcasing nature on every level of the hotel. And it will embrace the Disneyland monorail with a dedicated platform inside the hotel directly for transport to the park. It will provide views of downtown Disney District, including a new upper-level restaurant, and lounge will give view of the Disneyland fireworks. So that'll be something they'll be selling off as event ticket stuff. They're also going to be, it's one of those situations. It'll also connect all 4 hotels through lush gardens and walkways and stuff. As part of this, what this does also mean is they are going to be closing down a lot of things from basically everything west of the Lego store will be taken over, which will mean that the AMC Theatre, the Rainforest Cafe, Earl of Sandwich, and the ESPN Zone will be closing, or they're going to be moving them to some other location. And also, as part of that, they also announced a brand new parking and transportation is going to be changing as well. There's a new 6,500 space car park that is going to be opened up, which is the idea is to improve parking and traffic flow throughout the resort and to speed up guest arrival by up to 60% with a number of access lanes and additional parking capacity on the west side of the resort. Additional parking capacity, and that's going to be construction for 2018 and set to open up in 2019. So that's going to be ready for Star Wars Land. So,
in theory,
yes. Well, it can't be hard to build a car park.
You've obviously never worked with American contractors before.
No, not very often, no.
Yeah, I imagine it doesn't come up too often.
Yeah, their bills for when they put their quotes in, the travel time and costs are just insane for me. But, yeah, so what do you think of this?
Honestly, there's good and bad. The good part is Disneyland desperately needs some new hotel options. I know there's plenty of third-party options around the area. No shortage of hotels in Anaheim. However, if you compare the Disney options, those that give you the benefits of being part of the Disney experience between Disneyland and Disney World, Land is crazy. There are only 3 or 4 options. They are all super expensive. Yeah, and they're all right next to the park. That's why they're super expensive.
Yes, just as an example, we were looking, or originally we were going to go to Disneyland this year. So when we were looking last year to book hotels and stuff, having done the Disney stuff in Paris and in Disney World, your first thing is, we'll check out the Disney prices for a couple of nights. It's like, whoa, no, we ain't doing that. So yeah, I can see what that is.
Yeah, and you don't even get the advantages that you do of getting like a Disney World park because, you go to a Disney World resort and you can get your fast passes 2 months in advance as opposed to 1 month in advance. Well, they don't have the fast passes at Disneyland. I know they're starting to do the paid structure and that's starting to show up, but you don't really get that the same way you do at Disney World. The parks, the main thing is that you're basically in the park or close enough that it's the same thing. These will obviously still be in that same specter. They're right on downtown Disney. Anyone who's been there probably knows where the AMC theaters are, where the Earl of Sandwich is. So they're right there. Feeds right into downtown Disney. I am a little bit sad that Earl of Sandwich is going. Not because I have any particular fondness for the brand, but it's actually one of the relatively cheaper options for eating, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I always go to them in both Disney and Paris because it's just cheap, and I like the Thanksgiving turkey. But the only thing that did get me with this one was I do believe that they've opened up a new shopping area, or they're building something over a bridge where this stuff might be moving. It looks, by the sounds of it, like they need to expand the shopping outside of the general area.
Yeah, they probably do, especially with a couple of places getting closed down. And again, this is one of those things where you compare the Anaheim experience to the Orlando experience. Downtown Disney is a fraction of the size of Disney Springs, as it's now called in Orlando. And the experiences between the two are very different. So, yeah, cutting this down even shorter, it's an interesting move. I know they've got very limited space to do this, and they're in the middle of a major city that's outside of another major city. So there's not much room for them to grow into. But, I don't know, it's iffy.
Yes, I think as well. If you've ever visited the Disney Village at Disneyland Paris, you realize just how small it's like. That's that thing you can walk from one side to the other in 5 minutes. So this kind of news kind of really hit. I mean, a lot of people are talking about, the trouble is with anything that happens at Disneyland, nobody likes anything new taking anything away. And everyone wants everything to stay the same, but everyone wants something new. We want something to be built, but we don't want you to actually have the time to build it and put the signs up and have construction. We want it just to kind of go poof, and it just miraculously can just be dropped in. This is a bit of an odd one. Obviously, there was a big impact, I think, with RunDisney, which I know affected you personally.
Right. So RunDisney canceled all of their races from 2018 onward until after this is finished. Now they say 2021. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm actually expecting this will probably be closer to 2023. But yeah, they canceled the races, and if you
it's only next year they've canceled the races now, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're going to cancel all future ones too. I think they've officially. They may have unofficially stated, until construction's done. But they might also be able to work something out with the city of Anaheim where they can do a different route. That's something for 2019 and beyond. Honestly, even if they do, I probably won't participate at that point. But, so Light Side Run is in January. If you ran in a previous Light Side Run, the registration was actually open for this one, so I'd already gone ahead and gotten 5K and 10K registered. Fortunately, I was paying enough attention that I saw, oh wait, they haven't actually opened the general registration yet. So I was like, oh, what's going on here? Are they going to cancel? Is it going to change? What's going on? So I did not make travel plans yet. I didn't have plane tickets. I didn't have a hotel booked. But I could very easily see people who'd registered being like, oh yeah, I know I'm going to be there for these dates, so let me go ahead and book hotels. And of course, all the hotels in the area know that it's a 5K, 10K weekend, so prices are jacked up. Plane ticket prices are jacked up. And if they couldn't get refunds, if they're not flying Southwest or one of the airlines that gives refunds or transfers, they're kind of screwed. They're going to Disneyland whether they like it or not at that point.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, a 3-month warning for that is not a lot.
Not for a Disneyland trip. Disneyland, even more than Disney World, I think, is one of those ones that's normally planned out several months in advance because you need to take advantage of early ticket prices. If you try to fly to Los Angeles, which is where most people going to Anaheim will fly into, with only a 2 or 3 day notice, you could be paying a four-digit price on that, pretty easily, or at least a high hundred.
Yeah.
And yeah, even a month or two out, you're looking at high prices.
I mean, looking at it from an international point of view, Los Angeles is so much more expensive to get to that people are planning this a year, probably 6 months, a year, 18 months in advance because of the cost of getting there. So that's where it's like, well, you could that's not a huge amount, but the amount of construction, I think also, with Star Wars Land also being construction in there, which again, it brings up this every time. I mean, the amount of comments you see on Facebook and Twitter about anytime any construction comes in of some of the Disney fans going, it's Star Wars and Marvel's fault. It's Star Wars and Marvel's fault is now the new Shanghai, where, if anything happens, it's always Star Wars' fault. And, I don't even like Star Wars and it's ruining my stuff. It's just that kind of feeling with Disneyland and I was explaining this to someone the other day about that thing of Disneyland is much more based for locals and they get a lot more events and a lot more food is better and all the rest of it because of saying that locals, where Disney World doesn't quite go for, and Disneyland Paris don't quite go for that kind of thing. Disneyland has a unique kind of situation for this.
Yeah, Disneyland, if you go there, all the advertisement, all the, the deals are really focused on, people who live in Anaheim or LA.
Yeah.
Disney World is definitely designed with the international, travelers, period. in mind. It's very close to a convenient airport. They've got the Magical Express if you're staying in one of the resort hotels. It's very easy to go there, experience Disney, and just stay within the Disney experience the entire time you're there. If you're in Anaheim, the second you set foot off of Disney property, you're in Anaheim, and it's
you know, this is not the bubble same theory. I know when I'm like, because I've been to Disneyland a couple of times, but you never stayed on site. It was literally just a day trip in and out while we were doing tours of Los Angeles or America kind of thing. Whereas Florida was always a bit different, but also, I mean, like from our point of view, when we have commercials on television here, they are all go to Walt Disney World, and they do a dual thing. Go to Paris and go to or Florida. The only time you ever see something for California is we have the California trailer, and there's usually someone standing in front of the castle going, and literally that is it. That is the only. We do not get any kind of promotion for us going there because it's not. They don't push it like that. It's all you walk past the travel shops in town, and there are massive, great big banners for going to Florida for Disney World or Paris. That's how it works over here in Europe. It's very much.
I mean, it's pretty similar here. Most of the advertisements you see on TV are for Disney World. They might toss in Disney World or Disneyland, but it's really Disney World, and it makes sense. LA, Anaheim are very expensive places to visit, not even just to live. Whereas Orlando is a very cheap place to live or visit, even as a tourist trap. It's cheaper for me to do stuff in Orlando than it is to do stuff here in Northern Virginia most of the time. I mean, minus the costs of actually traveling there. That's but it makes sense. So Yeah, but to get back onto the whole Disneyland Resort thing, more hotel space is going to be a good thing. That we might actually start seeing that change where, if they've got more hotels, it might help to drop some of the prices a little bit, and then they can start going, hey, you English people, why go to Paris when you can go to Los Angeles? And I can give you plenty of reasons why you should go to Paris instead of Los Angeles, but that's a different story.
It's definitely, I mean, as well as that, is that thing of, this thing recently with Downtown Disney in of starting to charge for parking after, and it's like it gets to that. It does feel a little bit like at the moment they may be getting something like, we love all you locals, but you're coming too often and we can't actually fit you all in. And they're trying to, and the way that they do the pricing to try and force people out, and it's got to that thing. It's so popular that they're actually having to try to restrict people from getting in. Yeah,
I mean, Disney doesn't even have, slower periods anymore. Trying to be like, I'm going to go to Disney World or Disneyland during the slow time, which would be like after the end of November, before Christmas, or maybe like January before Valentine's Day in February. That's been like the traditional slow time. Nowadays, it's not. It's you're still going to a packed park. You can expect the popular rides to be multi-hour waits. Heck, I know it's a brand new ride, so it's kind of an exception. The Pandora flight ride at Disney World, when I got there, it was at 140-minute wait time before the park opened.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that you can expect to start happening any time of year.
Yeah, I know. When I was looking at some Paris details for maybe like a sneaky trip at the beginning of the year. And they're offering 25% off hotel tickets and throwing in half board because they know that January and February is low season, freezing in Paris at that time of the year, and it's hard to explain to Americans of when you're in Disneyland in Paris in January and you have got woolly hat, scarves on. The lake at the Thunder Mountain is literally frozen, and the fountains have got ice in. Can't quite explain that to someone over in California. It's not quite the same experience, I can assure you. It's you certainly need a lot more hot drinks. But thank you very much for watching and listening to this one. We'd love to know your thoughts on this whole thing about doing the Disneyland Resort and the car park. We kind of drifted off a little bit all over the place there.
We're in Paris right now.
Yeah, we're in Paris right now. But we'd love to know what you guys think as well of all this thing and how it might affect you and, the things like that. We'd love to know your thoughts on this. As per usual, you can check us out over at DisKingdom.com and be sure to kind of subscribe on the RSS feeds or Twitter or Facebook, whichever way to get the latest news from us there. James, where can they find you?
I'm at heroiclegacy.com.
And on that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you guys soon. Laters.
Later.